It was the first time she'd been to my apartment, and I really wanted to impress her with a work I had in progress, an unfinished oil painting I'd been working on. So I positioned the evening sun to highlight the canvas just right, and when she saw it, she was impressed and asked, "When will it be done?" The year was 1998, 25 years ago. We've been married 20 of those years, moved multiple times since then, and like Marley's chain dragging behind me, this painting is a heavy reminder of my answer to her at that time. Someday. I put it on the easel and messed with it a couple of times over the years before pitching it back under the bed or in a closet or relegating it to a dark corner of the garage, and it's suffered some damage over the miles. Of course, so have I, making repairs as best as possible, hoping no one notices. But even if they do, it's time to give this relic some respect and myself some closure. Someday is today. Now, I'm aware of what some of this piece meant to me when I sketched it. I was working through some shit at the time, self-sabotage mostly, childhood issues that were emotionally standing in the way of all the stuff that I wanted to do. And my passion for oil painting or painting in general fell somewhere at the end of those creative pursuits. So, like month-old potato salad slowly migrating to the back of the fridge, this project lost its freshness. And since the theme of the painting was a phase, I eventually outgrew it. Most of it anyway. But there were some reasons why it continued to travel with us. For one, the partially done portion of the painting was still kind of cool. The wolf's breath is a borealis, the staunchy half-baked figure behind the belt, the cross, the scissors that we must never run with, of course, and a century clock filtered with cigarette smoke. And I'll tell you, there's some other details that were sketched on here that I'm going to leave out of the painting because I don't want it to become too busy. I'd like it to be something that is, pleasant, nice to look at, not too convoluted. Sadly, this painting will likely fall short of what it could have been because over the years I've neglected my actual painting skills at the altar of many other passionate interests, and the only positive I can really list for this is that had I not focused my energies into those various other areas, I likely would not be as happy and satisfied and really excited about painting again and finishing this as I am now. Which brings me to a bigger issue, a second reason this painting followed me all those years that has been harder to see. It needed to be a wake-up call. Now, a British novelist, Mark Lawrence, was quoted as saying, "Hold onto a thing long enough, a secret, a desire, maybe a lie, and it will shape you." I wanted to write. I wanted to play music and make films and dig into every corner of my creativity, and I did. But those who loved me, who cared, who knew me well, friends and family, who had my best interests in mind, they continued to hound me to draw and paint, or at least incorporate that skill into my work somewhere. And it's important to understand why. Why? Because nobody, not those who love you, not God, nature, the power of the universe, the power of intention, whatever you believe in, appreciates wasted talent any more than they approve of wasted time or money or energy, and least of all, potential. It's sad. I wasted too much of these things pushing the boulder uphill on numerous invested pursuits where I was, to a lesser degree, qualified or moderately talented enough to succeed. Would I do it again? Honestly, probably. I failed to see how an unappreciated gift left in the box, tossed to the back corner of a high shelf, negatively affects the giver. Who is the giver? The higher power, the energy that recognizes callous ingratitude. It will lose the enthusiasm to give more, which means doors will stay locked. Opportunities will not arise. Mentors, for some reason, will be absent. Those who love and care about you might spare your feelings and your enthusiasm for a new venture, but secretly, they're not in support of you. They're disgusted by your choices, and you'll struggle to advance for every inch of ground. Luck will not swing in your favor. I've heard it said that luck is where preparation meets opportunity. I'd argue that for some, it's where design meets desire. We're all uniquely designed for a purpose that may or may not be obvious, but you're naturally in the 1% of something. And all that's left is to develop it and make it some kind of benefit to the world. That's gratitude. It's where the streams come together, they connect into a river that cuts through rock, almost without effort. And the universe, the people who love you, the world, rejoices when we chart in a direction for which we're designed. Not just in ability, but tenacity, drive, courage, ambition, the tendency to take risks that you see in some of these entrepreneurial types. The ones I know are wound pretty tight, and they have been from a young age. They tend to adopt wealth as a yardstick for success, and that's fine, but most of the artists and creatives that I know anyway do not. The journey has deeper meaning. The prize serves a higher purpose. We look for signs that guide us through life, like a compass. So this painting now represents more than its original concept. It's a sign and a wake-up call that I'm not finished working things out. I'm dealing with what my decisions were over 25 years ago. I don't know what I was doing here. I know that I was going to have it all be part of the same airship or something, but it just isn't coming together there. So I think I'm going to have to erase this or redo this, but I'm going to have to sand this down so I can get rid of the edges of old dry paint. So bottom line is that I hope you find your 1% and respect it and appreciate it and lean into it. Okay? For me, I'm going to paint more and bring closure to this chapter. This one is called Lost Phases, and I think it's a fitting title, and I really hope you enjoyed watching the process and you like the final outcome. I guess I can finally tell my wife. 25 years. That's how long it's going to take. So thank you for sharing this time with me. If you enjoyed the video, you got something out of it, please like and subscribe. You can support my work on Patreon. The link is down below. And until next time, know yourself better than you know anyone else.